The story begins with a young Bruce, more like a child Bruce, who is looking at a sign about bats. He is at a zoo with other children and one of their teachers, who tells him that he'll have time to look at the bats all he wants later. But first, they must start the tour. The next scene takes us to Gotham, where we see a man on a motorcycle riding through the city, trying to recognize the place where he once lived. However, the city has changed so much that he cannot do so. Now, the city looks better. It has taller buildings and better lighting. But that's not the only thing that's different. Here, we learn that this man is Alfred Pennyworth, who has returned to the city after many years abroad on various missions. It is revealed that he is a kind of super spy or mercenary. Alfred doesn't know if he will like this new Gotham, just as he doesn't know if Gotham will like the new Alfred. Despite the differences, some things remain the same, like the shop where he used to buy his tea, so he stops there to buy some, leaving his motorcycle parked outside. Afterward, he heads to the place he has rented in Gotham, which serves as both accommodation and storage for whenever he returns to the city. Alfred tries to contact his daughter, Julia, but he can't reach her, so he leaves a message in her voicemail, saying he's in the city and would love to meet her. Then we find out the reason why he's in Gotham. It's for a mission. After contacting his supervisor, Alfred is informed about the Party Animals, a gang that has created chaos in the city over the last 3 months. They've been massacring citizens randomly, including children, and have increased the city's murder rate by 700%. We also learn that before arriving in Gotham, Alfred was in Singapore chasing someone. When he asks his supervisor why he was reassigned, he is told that it's none of his business. He's needed in Gotham, and that's all he needs to know. The supervisor instructs him to gather information about this new gang, but explicitly tells him not to interfere in their operations. Lastly, Alfred is informed about another individual of interest who also seems to be after the gang. However, unlike the gang, if Alfred encounters this individual, he has permission to eliminate him. The supervisor sends GPS coordinates of the locations Alfred needs to investigate directly to his motorcycle, then ends the communication. Alfred grabs a weapon and leaves the place. However, when he heads to his motorcycle, he realizes it has been stolen. This is the first major difference we see in this absolute universe. Here, Alfred is not a butler. He's a mercenary, a spy for hire. Additionally, it seems he is not connected to Bruce and has no ties to him. He is a man who knew what Gotham was, knew its people, and he's left without a motorcycle or GPS coordinates. All he can do is curse the city. We then move to another part of the city, to the Croc Gym, where we see someone training intensely, punching and kicking a heavy punching bag. Physically, he resembles the Bruce of the main universe. But then, another man, much taller and more muscular, enters the scene. It is revealed that this is Bruce Wayne of the Absolute Universe. While Bruce is training with the punching bags, we learn a bit about his past. The narrative flashes back to the first scene of the issue, where we see that the teacher accompanying Bruce at the zoo was his father, Thomas Wayne. During their walk, Thomas tries to teach Bruce something about lions in captivity. Bruce believes that the lion in front of him has an enviable life, sleeping 20 hours a day, eating ribs 3 times a day, and never worrying about anything, much less school. However, Thomas thinks this lion is treated too comfortably, preventing it from reaching its potential. He believes its life is wasted. A gunshot is heard, pulling Bruce out of his memories. In the present, he bursts a punching bag with a powerful punch, which angers the gym owner Waylon. Waylon tells Bruce he'll have to pay for the bag and the time it'll take to clean up the gym. This Waylon Jones is the Absolute Universe's version of Killer Croc. We learn that Waylon has a strange fondness for exotic creatures, as he has a snake wrapped around his neck and is holding a small crocodile. He owes this collection to Ozzy, who is the absolute version of Oswald Cobblepot, the penguin. Ozzy secured him a license for these animals under the table. Bruce tells Waylon that one day he'll get caught, but Waylon replies that penguins know where to hide their eggs. He then reminds Bruce that it's been months since he last joined their poker sessions. He invites him to this week's session, saying that apart from Ozzy, Eddie and Harvey will be there, and he's even trying to convince Selina to join. For Batman fans, all these are familiar names. Eddie is Edward Nygma, the Riddler. Harvey is Harvey Dent, Two-Face. And Selina is Selina Kyle, Catwoman. We also learn why they are familiar. We see a photo hanging on the wall of all of them. They were Bruce's childhood friends. They went to school with him and, apparently, were on that school trip to the zoo with him. Bruce tells Waylon he can't go, then prepares to leave the gym. Before leaving, he promises to buy a new punching bag as soon as he gets his paycheck at the end of the month. This is another significant change in this absolute universe's Batman. Here, Bruce is not a millionaire. His father is a school teacher, and he doesn't even have enough money to buy a punching bag. Moreover, his main villains here are his childhood friends, who for now seem to be ordinary citizens, albeit involved in illegal activities. We see this when Waylon mentions that he doesn't approve of what the party animals are doing in the city, saying he almost vomited when he saw the news. He tells Bruce that someone needs to do something because it's their city. Bruce doesn't respond and simply leaves Gotham. We shift to another part of the city, where we meet what appears to be the leader of the party animals gang, someone wearing a black mask or helmet. It's revealed that this person is Roman Sionis, also known as Black Mask. In a pool, we see a woman and a child, both wearing similar masks or helmets. Black Mask is meeting with Maroni and Falcone on his private yacht. The gangsters demand to know if the party animals are working for Roman and what they're trying to achieve by killing people indiscriminately, including women and children. They add that, while rumors suggest the party animals are present worldwide, operating in different groups, each representing a different animal, such as goats or giraffes, Gotham has rules that must be followed. They emphasize that they've been running the city for 150 years, demand respect, and warn Roman that if he doesn't leave their city by morning, he can consider himself dead. The woman interrupts to show their guests her collection of death masks. Masks made from the impressions of people's faces after they've died. She shows off famous masks she owns, such as those of George Washington, Socrates, and Martin Luther King. Then, she reveals masks related to Maroni and Falcone, one of Maroni's brother, and one of Falcone's cousin, with 2 empty spaces waiting to be filled. At that moment, both men are brutally killed. Maroni has his eyes stabbed with knives, and Falcone is strangled. It seems the child from the pool is the one who strangles Falcone. The child has violet skin and hair, if that's hair, hinting at a possible alien origin. Similarly, Black Mask appears more like an alien or someone who was burned alive, with the helmets adding further mystery to their origins. Roman toasts with his partner, celebrating their victory. Meanwhile, in another part of Gotham, Bruce prepares to patrol the streets. As he gets ready, he dons what could only loosely be described as a bat suit. It's a far cry from the sleek high-tech suits we're used to seeing in the main universe. This version is more of a makeshift, cobbled-together outfit, using basic protective gear, black fabric, and a simple mask. Bruce prepares to go out to roam the streets while on the news, scenes of the party animals are shown, who continue killing indiscriminately. Then we see Mayor Jim Gordon addressing the city through a public presentation. And obviously, people are not at all happy with how he's handling things, citing that they would prefer to have back the old corrupt Mayor Hamilton Hill, as at least he acted with decision. Corrupt, but effective. Meanwhile, Alfred watches what's happening from a distance and detects some heavily armed party animals about to burst into the public presentation, but he's not authorized to intervene, no matter how much he wants to. In fact, when he reports this to his supervisor, he tells him to give him more information after it ends. And although Alfred comments that there might be many deaths, he's reminded that he's there just to observe. By the way, Alfred makes an interesting comment about the masks. They look like ape masks. Jim Gordon promises his citizens that they will bring the criminals to justice. But one of those present tells him that the police can't do anything, that just 2 hours ago, a police station was set on fire, with officers running everywhere, wrapped in flames. At that moment, a bomb explodes, and the party animals enter the place. All attendees, used to these things, immediately hide under their seats, and one of the party animals shoots Jim, wounding him. Rather than kill him, his daughter Barbara, who here is a police officer, runs towards him. But Jim tells her to worry about getting all the attendees out of that place. The party animals prepare to murder all those present, but then they are taken out of the building by someone who closes the city hall and confronts the villains outside. Barbara opens the door to take a look, but is surprised by Batman, who tells her that no matter what she hears, don't open that door again. Meanwhile, Alfred reports to his supervisor that they haven't had civilian casualties yet, but that the mysterious individual has made his appearance, receiving permission to confront him if he represents an obstacle to his information-gathering mission. Then we see the three villains surprised to have been taken out of City Hall like that. But above them, we see someone hanging upside down, and when they also realize it was him who ruined their plans, they shoot at point-blank range, but the bullets just bounce off Batman's suit, Superman style, when they shoot at him. Batman lets himself fall like a real bat, and after releasing something that releases blue gas, he opens his cape and throws himself on the killers, showing for the first time that great black bat he has on his chest, which has been the subject of many comments as it's not very aesthetic. And since he's Batman, no bullet goes through him, even though he has opened the cape. He crushes one's neck with a stomp while throwing another something like a black tentacle. But then we see that it's his cape that, apart from being bullet resistant, is quite malleable. So he uses it to grab him by the neck and throw him against one of the nearby buildings. Then he grabs another in a similar way and throws him against a post before finishing them off with a double kick. Honestly, a spectacular fight. But more impressive, I find his new prehensile cape that, apart from being incredibly resistant, Batman can use to hang objects and people, and even to walk, making him look like a giant man on stilts. Then we see Alfred, who is analyzing Batman's movements and recognizes that he has style, but understands that the real test will start now, as many more members of the party animals approach him carrying weapons in their hands, and he delights in the spectacle. Batman is fast, constant, and above all focused. He has received training and masters martial arts, which he has combined in an original way, mixing Muay Thai and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and it seems he loves to hit directly, brutal but precise, breaking legs, dislocating them, as he avoids at all costs lacerating their arteries. There's not a single death, and that makes him understand that in addition to everything he has seen, he is also an idealist. Another of the party animals stands in front of him, carrying a knife-like axe of great size, but Batman doesn't back down and faces him, as he also has his own. And there we see what that black bat he wears on his chest really is, as he combines it with another piece he wears in his suit to produce his own axe, with which he cuts off his opponent's arm with a single blow. This fight served to see part of Batman's arsenal. Apart from his axe and his cape, we also saw how everything on his body becomes a weapon. The ears of his cowl become his batarangs that he can tear off and throw at will, and he has hidden blades in his arms that he uses along with his martial arts. Then he addresses the others who have been frozen by what they've seen and don't know what to do, whether to fight or flee. But Batman helps them make a decision, and while making more blades come out of his whole body like a porcupine, he shouts at them to get out of his sight, which they immediately do, fleeing terrified. Alfred congratulates Batman from a distance for the great work, but also tells him that if he were a real strategist, he would have set a trap to prevent them from fleeing. But before he can finish the sentence, he sees how a bomb explodes, as Batman is a real strategist, and set that trap, blowing up the stairs through which the thugs run, knocking them all out, something that impresses Alfred. With the thugs out of combat, Alfred confronts Batman and threatens him with his shotgun, mentioning that there are only 3 of them in the world, and that he could blow his brains out before he could blink. But Batman, who is crouched investigating one of the ape masks, easily disarms him with a kick before taking his shotgun and keeps it, telling him that it does seem quite dangerous. Another sarcastic comment from Batman before leaving the place, leaving Alfred on the floor. The next day, we see Bruce at his daytime job. It seems he works in construction, which explains why he doesn't have money to buy a punching bag, but doesn't explain how he got his cape and all his other toys. For his part, Alfred has followed his trail and quickly discovered that Batman is Bruce Wayne, following him throughout the city, from his work in the skyscrapers to his home. While telling us a bit more about Bruce, he's 24 years old, his mother is a social worker, his father a school teacher, and he grew up in Crime Alley. In DC's main universe, Crime Alley, also known as Park Row, is the place where Bruce's parents were murdered by Joe Chill. So in this alternate universe, that reminds me a lot of the Bizarro world where everything is reversed. It's not surprising to see that Bruce was raised there. Alfred continues with his monologue and tells us about his friends, that Bruce is very intelligent, so not almost at genius level, that when he was in 5th grade, his engineering project of a collapsible bridge based on bat wings won him and his class a trip to the Gotham Zoo. Yes, that same trip. Then the issue takes us to the continuation of what was seen when Bruce was training at Croc Gym. If you remember, the narration stopped with Thomas Wayne hearing a shot, and it turns out that it's the version of Batman's origin in the Monarch Theater and Crime Alley from the main universe, with Joe Chill murdering his parents. In this absolute universe, a crazed shooter opens fire at the zoo, killing dozens, while Thomas Wayne takes the children inside the bat enclosure to keep them safe, holding the door and telling Bruce these words: "No matter what you hear, don't open this door." Words we've heard before when Bruce said them to Barbara at City Hall. And that's how Bruce's father met his death. Alfred also discovered that after that tragedy, Bruce rebelled against the world and was arrested for various crimes before coming to his senses. Something inspired him, so he decided to return to school, winning an athletic scholarship to the state's best university. However, he was injured in his first week, although Alfred knows that's all false. Bruce faked his injury to forget about sports and focus on his studies. He studied applied mechanics, chemistry, criminal psychology, military theory, socio-cultural history, and more as part of his preparation. Then he returned to Gotham and worked in the electrical grid, the water supply system, the sanitation system, before moving to City Hall as an intern studying public policies, all with the intention of knowing his city inside and out, to then return to his origins and continue creating, continue building. Alfred understands that everything he has done is impressive, but despite having learned all that, Alfred still intends to end Bruce as he sees him as a crusader, those of the Crusades, which is never good, and knows that like all crusaders, he has a weakness, which is his mother Martha Wayne, who was at City Hall when it was attacked by the party animals, supporting Gordon in his presentation to the public. Alfred says he could kill him right in front of his mother, that's what he should do. But he receives a text message from his daughter telling him not to look for her anymore and to leave her alone. That makes Alfred think better and understand that Bruce, despite everything, is just a kid and has his whole life ahead of him. But Alfred wants to learn more about this Batman, so he tracks him to one of the deserted offices high up in a building where Bruce has his base of operations, or better said, his office cave. But Bruce realizes his presence, so he changes into his suit to receive the unexpected guest. Alfred stands in front of him and threatens him with another of his weapons, but Batman confronts him with the shotgun he stole from him the day before. Alfred doesn't take him seriously, since he knows he has a policy of not killing, so he asks him to hand over the weapon. However, Batman shoots anyway, hitting Alfred in the face with what appear to be pellets or rubber bullets. Alfred tells us what happened next. First, he understood that Bruce had modified his wonderful weapon to be non-lethal. Second, he heard the sound of his weapon hitting the floor and Batman's voice telling him, "Keep it." Third, he heard the sound of a motorcycle, his own motorcycle. And fourth, Batman's voice telling him that he's not the only one who knows how to follow people. Finally, he heard the sound of glass breaking while seeing how Batman jumps from the top of the building on the motorcycle 1,000 feet high, leaving Alfred wondering where the hell he's going to land. To then think for a moment that maybe, after all, Gotham isn't such a bad place. But the issue doesn't end there, as we have an epilogue where we're told about Alfred's previous target, that subject he had been chasing for 5 years and whom he left in Singapore to return to Gotham. He's informed that they lost track of him in the Philippines, which greatly angers Alfred, as it was 5 years of his life. He followed him in France when he was studying with Henry Ducard before killing him, then followed him when he was training with the League of Assassins, whom he later killed, and now he has disappeared. But then we move to Manila, the capital of the Philippines, and we see that at a semiconductor manufacturing plant, a helicopter lands to pick up one of the 30 richest men on the planet. The pilots don't know his real name, and one of them wonders if he wouldn't want to be his new millionaire best friend. But the other warns him not to even think about making a joke, as this man never laughs. He doesn't do it for anything in the world. And that's why they call him the Joker. And we see him about to board the helicopter. Or at least we see part of his face. Our dear and respected Joker, the mysterious multimillionaire who trained with Henry Ducard and with the League of Assassins. Everything Bruce Wayne did in DC's main universe. But this Joker doesn't laugh. And that's all for today's video, everyone. If you enjoyed this breakdown of Absolute Batman #1, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss our upcoming comic book analysis videos. I'll be covering Absolute Batman #2, and trust me, you won't want to miss what happens next in this fascinating alternate universe. Drop a like if you enjoyed this video, and let me know in the comments what you think about this new take on Batman, especially that incredible new cape, right? Are you Team Alfred or Team Bruce in this universe? Until next time, stay awesome and keep reading comics. See you in the next one.